recently I have been reviewing a series of debates that have been transpiring between Brother Omowale Africa and the Obsidian Media Network. And basically what this identifies is a difference of opinion of those people who are black and identify more as conservative, if you will, and calling out the problems of black America and are disgruntled with black America, which you will typically find in a lot of black men online who are either a part of the black manosphere or they have joined forces with black Republicans, things like that. And then you have brothers who are in the pro-black community, and that would include me, who believe to some extent of a level of black nationalism. Some are even as I won't call it outrageous, right? But you have some brothers who are even off the grid, who go back to Africa and don't even live off the grid completely, off the, and I'm talking about off the land. You have those kind of brothers who are at the real extreme, but mostly you have people who are looking for black empowerment, are creating somewhat of a black utopia that you may have seen prior to that of the Jim Crow South, meaning that blacks are trying to be as independent of whites as possible and trying to achieve that through relationship building, and in some bigger terms, making connections with Africa, somewhat like a diaspora trade agreement, if you will, and trying to build up our people with building that value. And of course, what you always come to question for those brothers like Omowale Africa, Brother George Macon, brothers who will always have an issue with black men who date out. You will have brothers who have issues with black men who are disparaging black women. You will have issues with brothers who are not trying to be active in the black community, but will be favorable to going to work for corporate America, be favorable for working with non-blacks, and at the same time castigating those blacks from their own community. And it brings an interesting debate. And the question you're going to hear from brothers like Obsidian Media Network, or some of you brothers out there who have some issue with the black community, are pro-blacks. Your Dr. Umar Johnsons, your Al Sharptons, which I really wouldn't consider him that. He just has that rhetoric. Well, then why aren't the pro-blacks building? You want me to come back to black America. You want me to come back and deal with the Pookies and the Rays. You want me to come back and rehab black ghettos and spend my time in developing our people. Why are you not doing that? Why can't the pro-blacks build anything? And there are going to be a myriad of excuses for that. You're going to hear, and I was talking to Brother George, you're going to hear, well, the blacks are out there selling out. They're out there working for the white man. They're chasing white women. You'll hear that. They don't want to work with our people. You'll hear that. But there's only one excuse that I'm gonna buy from Brother George, because I was shutting a lot of that down. To me, most of it didn't make any sense. It don't make any. There's no excuses why those people who are telling us we need to come out in the black community and do this, and you're not doing it. It doesn't make any sense, especially the black men. You're gonna lose every time. Men need to be able to see that you are doing what you're talking about. If you're not, don't put the arguments out there. You can be right, and I do believe Brother Omowale Africa and about 99% of the things he's saying concerning black empowerment is correct. Dr. Umar Johnson, correct. Brother George Macon, correct. But the issue is going to be this. If you can't prove it, it don't matter if you're correct. But here is the situation that I will relay. Because the pro-black community has the same problems that the black manosphere has. And that is, black men can't build. Why can't they build? Because the historical perspective isn't tied into the business perspective. And we got to talk about that. I want to reference Brother Kyrie Irving right now. Kyrie Irving has been under attack. I personally do not like Brother Kyrie for many other reasons. But I think that this is a little bit overboard for what's going on with our brother. So much so that other people coming out in his support. I do think that it's outlandish the requirements they're asking him to do. But when Kyrie Irving shares that link, which that's bullshit because Amazon shouldn't even have the video up there if they felt that way. Look at all the things he has to do to get back into the NBA. Meet with the Jewish synagogues, pay $500,000, which they already rejected. All of these things to do it, but basically what the Jewish community is forcing Kyrie to do, they're forcing him to go and listen to the historical leaders. Okay? The historical leaders are the teachers of Jewish traditions. They hold down the fort that makes sure that people never forget. Once you're done with that part, they are backed by their business communities. And their business communities make sure that the historical community is protected. We are going to incentivize our historical community to be protected. Okay? Let's leave out our brother, Dr. Umar, in the pro-blacks. We'll even deal in the black manosphere. We have a historical community. Dr. T.S. Johnson. Want to know why the black manosphere can't really build like they should? Because where is the endorsement of T.S. Johnson, a man who has black masculine studies, a man who has done all kind of great work? We're all aware of him. We're aware of the work that he does. We're aware that he is a genius. He is a talented person, very astute. We are lucky to have a PhD like him. But why doesn't Dr. T.S. Johnson, the teachings, when somebody comes across black men and discuss black men, why don't we send people who disrespect black men like Stacey Abrams to a Dr. T.S. Johnson lecture so you can understand the history of black men and why you should never disrespect black men like that? Want to know why? Because the black men masculine or black men business community won't support Dr. T.S. Johnson. That's why. Because Dr. T.S. John isn't a businessman. T.S. Johnson doesn't build businesses, right? He doesn't do that. Guys who are business builders, we are the people in general. I'm talking about those of us, we are the ones that's supposed to prop our brother up. Same thing with Dr. Umar Johnson. Even though Dr. Umar Johnson, he suffers from some of the same things I believe our brother Marcus Garvey suffered from, our ancestor. Being that, these guys are a little bit they're overextended in their expertise. Umar Johnson, by far, is not a businessman, nor will he typically accept any help from them. He can't manage money. But when Dr. Umar Johnson is educating those who disrespect black people, well, for people similar to him, the business class of black America don't support him. So that's why you can't get building. And the reason why you get building is because when you want to train entrepreneurs, they must understand that they're building businesses based on the historical collective, how to respect their people. And the Jews do that. When people are building businesses for Jewish people in the Jewish community, also they're doing it for wherever country they're in, that ain't, obviously, because they pay taxes like anybody else. But their people don't forget. So they're intentionally understanding I'm working with our community to achieve something. Our business people don't do that. And that's why we don't create entrepreneurs that solve our problems. We don't create men on purpose that can take care of women or vice versa. And that's the reason why the black manosphere or Dr. Umar can't build. Because you don't have the support of each other. See, let me tell you this. What's the problem in third world countries? In third world countries that are doing, pretty bad, they're not on the come up, right? You have the government, you have the educational system, and you have the private sector. The three don't work together to create prospects for what the countries need. So if you need STEM, if you need the industries, The government isn't doing the good job to get, let's say, for example, the investment from foreigners or whoever it is to bring those industries into the country. And then that money is not, once you see like, okay, the GDP is rising at 8 to 9% per year for certain African countries, for an example, it's not being invested in the educational sector to create better products to serve the country. It's mired in corruption. And that is also no different from why pro-blacks can't build. And Black Manosphere can't build. Some guys are going to come and talk to me, well, we have a few conferences, and that's okay. But for the most part, you can't. We can't. Those are the fundamental reasons why. And until we understand that, it's not enough for us to be successful financially. We need to be educated so that people never forget what happened to our people. That people never forget what happened to our men, and our historians need to be incentivized. Our Dr. John Henry Clarks, Dr. Amos Wilsons, they are not business people. The business people come in and help them. And this is not even my own idea. This is Brother George Macon's idea, which is the only thing I'll accept from him. The other bullshit excuses he gave me the other day, I was ripping him apart. Okay? Because they were poor excuses. But this one was the one I'll accept. And this also must lead into resolutions. The brothers that are historians, that are the people who are the thinkers of the generation, Dr. T.S. Johnson, we put our money behind this guy. The business class comes behind him. Okay? The Dr. Tommy Harris, we are supposed to put our money behind these people. And then we tie or undergird, as Dr. T.S. Johnson would say, our issues with them. So when people disrespect us, you need to get a lecture on black masculinity. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to build, because you need black men to historically be inspired as to what they're doing it for. Okay, so I'm building the business for our community based on our history. Oh, you disrespected us. Say sorry. Give some money to our organizations. And guess what? Go talk to T.S. Johnson. That's the playbook. We don't do that. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.